It is without a doubt that we are under some insane tyranny, and there's no way that we're gonna get out of this alone. Honestly, I don't really see how we're gonna survive. I saw a video last night about uh, Julian Assange. He had an interview with the Daily Mail. I think it was about 2 years ago or something like that, or not, or last year actually, back in 2018, before he got arrested recently, which is unbelievable. That's just straight force out to get people that are exposing some crazy things going on behind secret government and shadow government doctrines across the world. So his arrest is a big wake up call for everybody. But I saw him last night saying that, during a small interview, it was about 2.5 minute video, saying that we are really the last, this generation, my generation, the kind of millennial generation type deal, and then the one prior to that, we really are the last ones to be free here. Honestly, I can't agree anymore, because that's the damn truth. I really don't see how we're going to make it out any harder, any better than the one before us, because even we as some kind of entity, ever since World War II, really, like, the New World Order has been kind of just building up, and the UN and League of Nations kind of changing, and the Trilateral Commission being created, CFR being created, Bilderberg Group meetings just happening every year annually. By the way, if anyone wants an update about Bilderberg, it seems like the next meeting is going to be in Sierra City, California. I just researched it not too long ago. That's really the only found kind of one article about it. Obviously it's always in June. Sometime in June. I'm not really sure exactly when it's going to happen, but it's sometime in June. The days I'm not sure, but the list isn't even out yet. It takes a minute for them to really release that stuff to the public, because they still are secretive to a certain degree. But there are still one on those books written about them, obviously. So anyway, I digress. That's going to be happening soon. But, I did see something about the news last night with Trump. He actually just got us out of the UN arms treaty deal. That's a Gateway Pundit article. I put it on my Facebook page, The Oversight. And I'm just making a video about this right now, just because it's kind of got me really inspired to see that last night. It was really nice to see how, every time, things kind of, time goes by, legislation goes by, and you really just kind of forget about how real Trump is sometimes. Even I do sometimes, and don't worry, I'm not a lapdog for the president. I'm really not. I agree with a lot of what he does, and I disagree with a lot about what he does, especially when it comes to the biometrics data, kind of accumulating people's biometrics and retina scanning and things like that in airports, just kind of increasing the surveillance state, which I really don't think he knows a whole lot about, just because of his age, and I think he's getting misadvised, ill-advised by people close to him in the executive branch. But honestly, he did get us out of the UN arms treaty deal, and that was a big deal, just because of the fact that we were stuck in that since Obama signed it into office a few years ago, into legislation a few years ago. But actually, it didn't make legislation. I'm sorry. He signed it, but the Senate, it never went through the Senate. So Trump just pretty much said, like, what, screw this. We're not going to even sign it. I'm not going to look at it. It's not going to happen. We don't need the United Nations to recognize that we, as Americans, it's in our Second Amendment, even far before we were even founded, used weapons to create our own sovereignty. So it's kind of ridiculous how the United Nations just wants to sit there and act like it can just dominate us, and say, like, we need to recognize as a global foundation that you're going to have a United Nations recognized arms treaty. And pretty much that the states can own weapons, the citizens can use weapons to defend themselves, when we don't need you, dude. We shouldn't even be funding you. Honestly, I think we should cut down the United Nations funding by like 30% to start, and gradually work away from there to where we're really not even funding the bitch anymore. And it doesn't even need to be onshore in New York City. I think it's ridiculous. The United Nations is straight up just involved with just wanting to destroy the state of Israel. That's a damn fact. It's everywhere. Pretty much all I do. Anyone that worked in the UN, you can just look it up for yourself. They just are straight up anti-Israel. And it's insane. They're just war propagating people that wanted to take out Assad. A year or two ago, when Nikki Haley was in there showing the pictures, remember showing the pictures of children and stuff getting struck by nerve gas and everything like that. I mean, this is sarin gas. It's just insane. Sarin gas. I find it unbelievable how people just don't know about this stuff yet. And there's so many things out there that's evidenced about it, that's been documented about it, that's been proven about the United Nations and things like that. Its nature, along the CFR. I mean, we've really been screwed since the 70s, if you want to be real. We've been screwed since the 70s. big time, and especially since the 40s. The 40s is when it really kind of took over. Next to 1913, just taking off a huge chunk of our liberties away when it comes to taxation and finances with the Federal Reserve being created. But it's really just kind of overstepped and taken a huge leap of faith. Now they're just kind of Hail Marrying life at this point. The elitists and stuff, they're just kind of, you can just tell they're freaking out. Now they're running Biden in office. My ears is itchy as hell, but they're running Biden in office against Trump in the 2020 election here. This is going to be insane. I'm sure all of you watching have probably been keeping up with it. I know I have. There's like, I think 20. It's the most in history, I think, for presidential candidates. Especially this early on into before the primaries, before anything, before even the first debates start happening. This is really a historic moment, just from the actual size of candidates that are entering into the race now, especially the Democratic side. And you can already tell. You can look at the field and tell, okay, you're not going to be there. You're not going to be. You can just kind of point them out. Who's not going to be involved as months and a year goes by. I'll just lay out my opinion right now. I think it's really going to come down between Trump and Biden, just because Biden's a straight up establishment kind of candidate, old school Democrat. The establishment doesn't want to go so far left to the point where it's socialism, because ultimately that's their goal. But maybe now with Bernie coming in the picture, it's definitely expedited that goal into a socialistic state to bring in the New World Order as a global bureaucracy. However, Biden will be another smooth transaction, kind of more of a continuation with Obama, because Obama was bringing it in very smoothly. It's kind of sliding right under the chin and the nose of people as time was going by, except the people that were really keeping vigilance and watching and really critiquing Obama with what he's been doing. So Biden would be a great continuation. They thought Hillary was going to win. No, Biden probably has a better chance than any Democrat. I actually believe that myself, just because of his history and like how much he's been there. And he was kind of in the shadows in the administration a little bit. And he was, there's videos of him. I wish I could hyperlink. I'm just playing on my phone. But there's videos of him saying, when Obama was running, I think for the first term, he was, saying that, he was supporting the Second Amendment and saying, Obama can't take my guns and stuff. And, I'm going to come out with my rifle pretty much. I'm kind of slaughtering it a little bit, but you can look at the video yourself about how Joe Biden, I don't really know what to type in on YouTube. Joe Biden threatens Obama with a gun, or Joe Biden threatens to keep guns, something like that. But there's a video of him saying it during Obama's campaign. I think while Obama picked him for VP. But I digress again. I think it's going to be a pretty insane debate, but I think Trump's got a good chance. A lot of people are saying, even left-leaning kind of sites are saying that Trump probably has a good chance to win again. I hope he does, to be honest. Like I said, I'm not lapdog. I'm a libertarian, conservative libertarian. But I hope he does win, just because for the sake of our country, even though the biometric stuff is wrong, I know Trump doesn't really know a lot about it, probably just because of his age and hasn't been around it a lot. He's not really tech savvy. But at the same time, the more security you kind of want, the more liberty you're going to lose in due time. And that's just the price you pay with it. I know after 9/11, that's really been pushing us, and it's pretty sad. But other than that, I think he's going to be great. I think we are bringing down the NWO slowly. It's coming down, but it's I don't think it's dead. Some people are saying it's dead. I don't think so. I think it's still alive and well. I think it's still going, and I think they're still trying to do everything they can. It's definitely dying. It's definitely falling apart. It's definitely collapsing. You can just see it, but there's still organs and tentacles and it's still alive. It's still there. It's still pounding. It's still going to keep trying to fight. And ultimately, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going. No one can say for sure if it's going to be brought down or not. What's going to happen towards the end? Who's going to really win this? They're going to try and rig the election again. So stay vigilant with the election itself, and just make sure that no one tells you that it wasn't, that there weren't illegals voting, because there's definitely more than 11 million illegals in the country, and that's been increasing. There's a Breitbart article I just put on my oversight page on Facebook. Go look into my page. Seriously, I have good articles. I get it from all sorts of papers throughout the world, and I just flush it on there, tell you what's going on with the NWO, and tell you what's going on with the surveillance state, things like that of all nature, local and global and federal. So look into my page, the oversight. This is Justin Cumber Show, obviously, but I'm still working behind the scenes. I'm going to get a real podcast going here with everything, and I'll probably have some guests eventually on. But just stay vigilant, guys. Keep up with the 2020 election, and stay patriotic as hell, because we're going to need you.